Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and we're back with our weekly preview of things that have come into my shop recently, and items I will be working on, and some of which I will be doing videos on. And if I show you a piece out here and just say it's in my shop, but I don't plan to do a video, and you're interested in seeing that video, then please let me know, and I'll try and add it to my list as I work through the items. So first I want to give you an update on those 80 Jig Masters, those of you that are following that part of the series. I'm down now to repairing the side plates. That's what you see in the box here. You saw earlier on that I had taken all of those apart. I had cleaned the frames, cleaned the non-gear side plates, and restored whatever was needed there, whether they were bearing caps or springs or missing screws or the like. So now I'm down to the inner workings of the gears, and we're going to see what we need to do there. In some cases, in all cases, there's a lot of dirt on them. In some cases, pieces are missing. Right we're missing that eccentric spring here. We're missing the screw for the side plate, but all of those things are repairable and replaceable. And we're going to get on those and work on those this week, in between some of the other items that are in my shop. So let's share some of those with you. And while I'm doing that, I want to thank our first responders, our essential personnel, and all of the people that are working hard to help us get through this pandemic. Your efforts truly are appreciated. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you for everything it is that you do. So the next one comes with a story then. I have a box here. I met a fellow on Facebook. His name is Don. He's a nice fellow. He lives down on the Bay Shore side of New Jersey in the New York Harbor. He actually works in the New York Harbor. And interestingly enough, he's into bass fishing with the beautiful Bay Shore fishing right behind his house. He's into bass fishing, and he takes his boat and travels elsewhere to kind of get his fishing in. But at any rate, he had some items that were available on Facebook Marketplace, and we talked about them. Unfortunately, they got sold before I had an opportunity to see them. But he had mentioned that he had some reels in a bag. And I said, geez, I'm becoming known, it seems like, for reels in a bag. But he had some reels in a bag, and if I was interested, why don't I come on down and we can talk about picking them up and maybe restoring them. So I did. So when I got down there, we started looking. He had 4 reels that I was interested in. So the first one here is a reel in a bag project that I think we'll do. I've done a couple of these already. This is the GS series. I think this is the 320. I could be wrong. 310. This is the 310 GTI. It's got all its pieces and parts from what I understand. Just needs to be gone over, assembled, and put back to fishing. So we're going to do that one. The second one up was a this is 2 bags, I guess. No, 1. It's a Penn 4.0. It's the black-sided one. So the black-sided one is the low-speed Penn Senator. The red-sided one is the high-speed. And I get a lot of questions frequently about what's the difference between the black side and the red side. What's the difference between low speed and high speed? And the essential difference is on a low speed reel, you get a lot of torque. You're able to pull up a heavy amount, but it's going to crank. It's going to be a lower line turn in terms of rotation around the wheel, but it's going to be able to be a consistent heavy puller. Think of it as torque in a 4-wheel drive truck. You get put a lot of torque down. You can tow an awful lot. The high speed, you're going to retrieve a lot of line faster. It's great for jigging and trolling and for when you get a lot of line out. But one of the problems with big fish is that speed can pull the hook right out of the mouth of a fish. So this is the black-sided one, and I got 2 of those that I'm going to be putting back together again. You can see the second one here, and they're in nice condition, except for the fact that they need to be reassembled. And Don is like me and like a lot of folks who are great starters, but not necessarily great finishers. And so we open up a lot of projects on our table, and then get on to start doing some other things. I'll get a call, and the fellow will say, gee, I know I just gave you the reel, but I was really trying to get out this weekend. Can you help me? And the next thing I know, a project is sitting off to the side. So with that also came a bag of mixed parts. So I have a 4.0 side plate and the yoke and the jack assembly, and I also have a GTI gear bridge, and I'm guessing that's probably from the 310. I'm not sure. The handle goes with the 4.0. And he was just pulling out a couple of bags of this and that, and in one of those bags is another reel project. It wasn't one I came down for, but it was one I wound up with, and that is a Penn 9. The Penn 9 is the level wind, smallest in the level wind Pier series, and we'll probably put this one back together. There's a lot of folks that use this one. It is a great transitional reel. You can use it inshore, you can use it in lakes, and you can use it from pier or boat. So it's a nice little reel to have, and I'm going to go make sure that we do that. And then the fourth reel in the bag then was the other one I had come down for. It's a red-sided Jig Master. Folks ask me about, what's the difference between the red side and the black side Jig Master. Well, nothing really. Certainly not mechanically. But if you find a red Jig Master, you can be assured that the red Jig Master was made in the U.S. I think the Jig Master was introduced in the late 50s. It replaced the Penn 250 Surfmaster. And what it did was it became high speed. We were just talking about high speed before. This is a bigger gear set in here, and it's a higher speed meant for jigging. This one's in nice condition. You just saw I've got 80 of them, so now I got 81 that I can rebuild, except that this one doesn't go to the boat. The red ones are made in the U.S. The early ones were black-sided and made in the U.S. The later ones from China, starting in around 2005 or so, are also black-sided. So you had black, and then you had the red, and then you went back to the black-sided. If you have the one that has the bullet holes in it across, those are the more modern ones. So in your Jig Master progression, you had single bars, then you had the solid bars, then you had the bullet hole bars. So that's just going to help you a little bit with the dating there. So while we were there, I kind of went down for those reel in the bag projects, and we got to talking, and I was able to purchase another one. And many of you have heard my stories on the Penn 350 level wind, which is what this one is. And this is a nice one. It's got a little skip going on in there. Not quite sure what it is. Usually a skip like this is an indication that you've got line trapped in the reel. That you can just feel it as a certain, every like third of a turn, you're going to get a skip. If that only happened on a single turn, you'd say I got a bad tooth or something like that. But if it's kind of come and go kind of a thing, then you need to check that out further. If you have a 350 and you need parts, it's interesting to note that this spool is the same spool that fits the 155 Beachmaster, and it also, I believe, fits the 209. I could be wrong on that one, but I think it also fits the 209. So it's just a change of format. This reel has the torsion bar level wind system. I know I've mentioned it before. It's the first reel my dad ever bought for me, so I date this to the late 1950s, early 1960s, and it's a fun reel. I don't know why they gave up on the torsion bar, but they did, and this one's got a little hitch in its giddy up, so to speak. Okay, I picked up a Penn 104. We have a problem with the bail here. That's not difficult, and you can still get the parts for it. I'm sure this bail has seen better days. I've shown you a couple of times how you can bend the bail wire. We may make a project out of this one just to show you how to restore it. But the stud is out of here, so that's a good thing. It needs a line roller. It needs a washer. It needs a screw. I believe all of those pieces are available. Otherwise, the reel works. So we'll get that one out there, give it a second chance. He was kind enough to give me this one. It's a Penn Daiwa 4000C. It's the same family as the 7000. There's a lot of fans for that out there. Obviously the issue here is it's missing the drag button. Yeah, if you want to set it and forget it, if you're doing drop fishing and you don't need to adjust your drag, this one will go just like it is. It needs a burring. You can kind of hear it in the background. It needs a burring. It certainly needs a good cleanup all around. This has been detached. The screws come out of it and the glues come off it. But you know what? Still love that reel. It's one of my favorites. This was a throw-in missing a handle, but a lot of us have had this one. This is a Ambassador 57. It's a rear drag Ambassador. I don't think I've done this one. And I'm even thinking I may have a handle. I don't know. As I'm spinning it, I am feeling that there is a catch in there. Not sure what's catching, but there is a little bit of a catch in there. So we'll see what we can do with that. This is a fun one. It's a Daiwa 1500, D1500. I think this one's going to wind up being parts because the arm on the bail here is broken. And that would mean that it needs an entirely new rotor. And you don't see this one around. So I think this one probably winds up in the parts tray. This is from that same D series. It's a spool, brand new. I haven't identified which one it belongs to, but we'll put that aside in case we need it. And then just two more spools as well. This is another Daiwa spool. I'm not certain which one it belongs to. When you see these, this line kind of a deal, it's kind of an indication that it's a Daiwa reel. If you're out kind of pawing through boxes of spools trying to find things, that's kind of a Daiwa. It's not a trademark, but it's an indication that it is a Daiwa. So that's what's come into my shop this week. In addition to that, I've restored an Ocean City 9, I think it's a 981. We're going to go back out there. The fellow who brought that had asked me if I could put some linen line on it. So I have some on an older spool for a Surf Master, which I'll transfer over there. It'll give it the period look that his grandfather probably took fishing with him in the 1950s. And we'll go ahead and load that with the line. We've got this thing running now, and it's a nice little reel. It's a great little reel for fine format. And this one will enable him to take it out there and put it on display and have a conversation about how his grandfather used to fish. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to see these being repaired, I would ask you to subscribe. If you subscribe, please hit the notification button. That will help you in terms of seeing when I post. I've been trying to post daily, and so far it's been successful, although it's been very tiring, I got to admit that. And I've been trying to work in these in addition to the normal stuff that comes into my shop. So please subscribe. If you have a question or you want to see any of these reels in particular, please leave it in the comments section. I do try to respond to as many comments as possible. I've been doing a pretty good job of it of late, but I can tell you that there are a lot of comments that come in. And finally, if you have a reel that needs to be serviced, well, it's that time of year, right? We're pulling the boats out of the water, or taking our tackle and cleaning it up and putting it away for the winter. Well, if you have a reel that needs to be serviced, please contact me on my email on the business card that follows, and I'll be happy to provide you with my service information. And you can send those reels to me in the mail. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.